Done.
Very good evening, one and all present here. It's indeed a beautiful moment for me to be part of this physical session on AQMM and one of an emerging topics in this illustrious Vijayawada branch of SARC of ICI. Namaste to one and all present here, and also those who are watching through online YouTube methodology and other technological ways in which we are all connected together. Today's topic is on AQMM. What is this AQMM? Why I need to know about AQMM? What is the role that it is having on my regular day-to-day practice? Is what that we are going to understand, along with the importance of this AQMM with a peer review perspective also. Though peer review may be applicable to you or may not be applicable to you, but irrespective of whether peer review is applicable or not, AQMM is having a very good role to play. We will go and understand what is this AQMM is and how we may be in a position to make use of this particular AQMM concept is. Before entering into the aspects of understanding on AQMM, there is something called as financial reporting ecosystem in which we all operate. Especially being a chartered accountant in practice who sign audit of financial statement where I certify the balance sheets, I have a huge responsibility for the ecosystem, which comprising of the shareholders, the management, the governance team, including the government, and also various other regulators and people who are watching on this particular financial statements. It may not be a big listed entity that we are talking. It may be a sole proprietor trader where he has to file his compliances, including income tax or GST compliance that he needs to make, professional tax compliance that he need to make, ESI, PF payments that we need to make, where there are a lot of players who are all involved in it. And then the moment we sign on the financial statements, they rely on it. So the moment we know this particular responsibility that we have taken as a practicing chartered accountant, in the market, there is also something very importantly that's happening, something called as audit expectation gap. There is an expectation gap, which we have to fill it up. First of all, we need to understand what is this gap is, and then only we will be trying to fill it up. What is this audit expectation gap is? What people generally understand with the term audit expectation gap is, what auditors are expected to do and what actually auditors do is what something called as audit expectation gap. Say, for example, the person, a shareholder or a owner of a particular entity or a government may think that auditor will do all this magic wand and all. But what is auditor will be doing will be something absolutely different, maybe based on the scope, maybe based on the law or regulation with which he operates. So there may be a difference in what they think and what we do is what usually understood as audit expectation gap, but actually it is not. Actually, that is not audit expectation gap at all. Recently, there was a paper presented through the international forums with regard to a lot of discussions also happened in this particular audit expectation gap, including the role of auditor in detecting frauds. Whether auditor is also responsible for detecting of the frauds, because right from Kingston Cotton Mill case, we always say that we are only a watchdog and not a bloodhound. No, sir. We are not a detective agent. We may not be in a position to detect all frauds and all. Whatever that is given to me based on the information explanations given to me, we do a reasonable audit. We provide true and fair view. That's the responsibility for me. Like that, I may be in a position to say as an auditor, but people may think differently, or even government may think differently. So in that particular regard, the aspect of audit expectation gap is what discussed here. And they also identified 3 components to this audit expectation. One is something called as knowledge gap. The other thing, something called as performance gap. And the last one is evolution gap. Knowledge gap is what people think that the auditor will be doing vis-a-vis what auditor is actually expected to do is what something called as knowledge gap. People may think that auditor will detect frauds and all, but actually auditor is not required to detect frauds at all. So that is actually called as knowledge gap. People may think that auditor will be coming and evaluating the effectiveness with which the management has done the business, wherein auditor is no longer responsible for that effectiveness of the management's doing the business. That is something called as knowledge gap that we need to educate the people. No, dear friends, this is what my role, this is what my responsibility, and I am doing only this. Like that, we need to educate something called as knowledge gap. Nothing wrong with auditor's perspective here. But the second one is most important, something called as performance gap. What actually auditors are supposed to do vis-a-vis what actually auditors do is what performance gap. Here where we need to fill at the gap. There cannot be any gap at all, first of all. But maybe because of practice, maybe because of certain influences, maybe because of certain pressure, we may be at times in a position to may not perform what it is expected. That is somewhat something called as performance gap. Institute is also trying to minimize this particular gap. And last one is very, very important for all of us, something called as evolution gap, where we accept and change the embrace the new information technology or the way in which we do the audits. Say, for example, if it is in the year 1980 or 1990, when I'm going to do a bank audit, I need to go and sit down with all vouchers, all withdrawal forms, all deposit forms, check and all signature, matching this, that, and all. I need to go with the ledgers, and my entire activity was into numbers. Now, today, that is not the case at all. If I go and ask in a branch, I'm doing a branch audit, I'm going to ask, sir, please give me all the withdrawal slips and all. He will be looking at me, sir, what is that you are asking for? Withdrawal slip? No withdrawal slips, sir. All ATM banking, mobile banking, sir. What is that? In which era you are there? So the moment there is a technology that is adopted, very high speed. So we are also to embrace that particular technology so that we enable ourselves and do in a very environmental or automated environment audits that we need to do capable of. That's what we have today, Chat GPT and all. Please take it from me. Chat GPT is going to change our entire profession. It is the way in which I'm looking at Chat GPT is absolutely different. I'll tell you one simple case. Some 15 days back, it happened. One of my senior partner who's having a dividend warrant, he has not encashed it. It has lapsed. Unknowingly, it has been missed. So he asked one of the article assistant to prepare a letter to the company stating that this particular dividend warrant was not encashed. Please reissue a dividend warrant. This is what the core objective is. So in 2 minutes time, not even in 2 minutes time, he told me, Balaji, you overlook into and then you see if it is right, you send that letter. So I gave it to one article assistant, and in another 2 minutes time, he came up with a letter. I was worried. No, this is not the way in which he is doing. Actually, he will not do that fast, where we need to once again educate or do like that with a perfect letter, absolute beautiful letter. I was worrying at how this can happen. No, there is something wrong. If there is, we know what is normal and what is abnormal. No, this is absolutely abnormal. This is not the way in which he does. This is not the fast or speed in which he does. So I called him. Who gave this letter? No, sir, I only prepared. No, you only prepared. Okay. Through what methodology you prepared this letter? No, sir, Chat GPT, sir. What Chat GPT? What you did? Sir, I logged into Chat GPT, draft a letter for reissuance of dividend warrant like that. I gave it, sir. In another 1 minute, not even 1 minute, 30 seconds, it gave this letter, sir. I only filled up the data, check number, warrant number, date, that and all. He filled up and then he came out with an absolute beautiful letter. So the point that I'm driving here is Chat GPT is absolutely driving the entire world now. So no, that is a very it will not have impact on my audit. My audit is absolutely different. My client is absolutely different. Like that, if we think we are actually not doing this particular evolution gap properly, we need to embrace for that particular change. We didn't thought that whatever that was global is now local. I originally thought when Swiggy was in here, we have in Vijayawada, we have Swiggy. Yes. Yeah. When Swiggy was originally introduced in Chennai, I was telling to my wife, what is this concept of Swiggy, this, that, and all? Who will go to make a mobile phone and order a food, and then it will come at home, and then we'll see what the purpose of going hotel is spend time with your food at times. So the Swiggy model and all will not work like that. I told my wife, it may be very high in some cities like Mumbai or in Delhi or even in outside the country, it may work, but not in India and all like that. I was telling, especially in Chennai and all, it will not work like that. I was telling, in another 3 months' time, every morning, every 3 bikes, there is one Swiggy bike will be moving on. That is the growth that we have. So what we thought something is global is absolutely local. The point that I'm driving here home is, if at all we are thinking that will not apply to a city like Vijayawada. No. Here we have very, very conventional way of doing things, sir. We don't do the technology way of doing things. No. We are making something wrong. It will definitely have an impact. Maybe not in the first wave. Maybe in the second wave, it will all have its own effect here. So the point that I'm driving here is evolution gap is the non-adoption of technology is somewhat a very great gap that adds back to this particular audit expectation gap. For that particular matter, I would like to congratulate this particular Vijayawada branch of SIRC of ICA for adopting the technology in a very wonderful manner. When I was talking to the organizers, the chairman as well as vice chairman, they told that, sir, we have 25,000 subscribers of YouTube. During the COVID, we have capitalized, sir, and all our online channels are beautifully acknowledged by people like that. They were talking about, and then they do wonders. So exactly this is what this particular embracing the technology that we are talking about. So the moment we are in a position to fill in this particular gap, automatically the way in which the chartered accountants are looked into, or the quality that they expect, is always been maintained by us. We are all enjoying a particular position in the society. Being a chartered accountant, everybody realizes, everybody understands our position is because our forefathers or our seniors have done their qualitative activity. It is, they have not compromised on the quality. They have not compromised on the ethical aspects at all. Not for the price or the money that they are working for. The satisfaction and the level in which they maintain the quality is what always expected by the people. That's why we are in a high pedestal. If at all the younger generation or the next generation doesn't maintain this particular quality, then the profession by itself is at question. So in order to address this particular problem, institute comes out with periodic items of improvements. One of the wonderful methodology or a tool that they brought in is something called as Audit Quality Maturity Model, AQMM. What is this Audit Quality Maturity Model? This will be applicable to every PU. What is a PU? PU is a practicing unit. You may be a single sole proprietor, or you may be a firm, or you may be a bigger firm with 10 partners, 15 partners, whomsoever it may be. You are a practicing professional, you will be called as a PU for that matter. Even during the previous period under peer review and all, the practice unit got classification level 1, level 2, level 3 and all that and all. They have removed it. Everybody is now called as a PU, practicing unit. It may be an individual who may be practicing in a Mofussil, or he may be a person who is practicing in a metropolitan. It doesn't make any difference. For all of them, this audit quality maturity has to be there. On what maturity model that you talk about? There are different models nowadays. Politicians talk about Gujarat model, national model, Dravidian model, this model, that model and all. Institute also talks about a different model, something called as audit quality maturity model. How matured that you are, your practicing firm is, in order to ensure quality in all the audits that you do. Whether you do it or your senior does it, or your junior does this particular activity, whether they always maintain the same quality from the firm or not, is what exactly this particular audit quality maturity model is talking about. Say for example, in India, we issue an audit report. In Singapore, they issue an audit report. In Australia, they issue an audit report. Now, cross-border transactions are very much possible. There are cross-border investments are also happening. So I should be in a position to understand what the Singapore auditor is in a position to say. The Singapore investor is in a position to understand what the Indian auditor is to say. So they need to have a cross-reference. They need to have the same level of understanding. They need to speak the same language. There should be a same objective. So internationally, we have something called a standardization. That's why we have like IFAC, which is the global accounting principal agency, comes out with IFRS reporting and all. All over the globe, you have the same sort of accounting treatment. In India, I will be doing one accounting treatment, and in Africa, they will be doing a different accounting treatment, and in US, they do a different accounting treatment. May not have the comparability, may not have the uniformity. So in order to bring in this particular harmony in which the accounting activities are happening all over the globe, in which the auditing activities are happening all over the globe, this particular standards are being set. You have accounting standards or Ind AS as the case may be, and also you have standards on auditing which are at par with international standards. So our international standards, why for me, where some time back I was talking to the organizers, they told, sir, primarily we are into this particular region where we are operating is predominantly they are into trading activity. We are all in a very small level of compliance that we do. You are talking about international standards and its adoption in Indian level. So whether it will be having an effect on my regular day-to-day work or not, please take it from me, it will be having an effect. it will be having an effect. May not directly, and may not, the proportion will be somewhat lesser today, but it is going to have a grab. It is going to have a grab. All over India, we are going to have the same methodologies and same adaptability that are being brought in. The standardization will definitely have a work. So in order to enable everybody into the firm who are into practice, in order to ensure that everybody in the practicing professional, they are maintaining this particular quality, audit quality maturity model was brought in as a recommendatory measure by the institute. There is one department called CAQ, Center for Audit Quality, like your taxation, direct taxes committee, indirect taxes committee, accounting standards board, auditing assurance standards board, like that. We have multiple committees and boards that operate. One of the directorate of the institute is Center for Audit Quality. They always try to identify what are all the gaps, provide training programs, and then ensure these sort of new initiatives have been brought in, so that it is adopted by the people practicing and try to maintain the standards is what the sole objectives are. Nothing difficult in this particular regard. But our implementation, we need to have some challenging. It's nothing but the mind adoption. Once we are in a position to accustom, definitely we will be in a position to implement this also. What is AQMM? It is basically a capacity building of the firm. Sometime back, the past chairman also told me about the networking aspects. Sir, we need to have the networking guidelines. We need to have a meeting on the networking also. What this networking is, in order to enable my capacity, I need to have my networking firms. There are firms, say for example, if there is a multinational accounting firm, Big 4, Big 5, Big 6, whatever you call, where they have every resource. You have Ind AS, I have a solution. You have direct taxes, I have a solution. You have some real estate related transaction, I have a solution. But in a small city like this, where we may not have that particular expertise in every area, I may be specializing in one particular area, I may not have resources to ensure that every area 360 degrees of a particular client's requirement may be catered. May not be. I may be specializing only in direct taxes. If there is a question on real estate, then I may not have that full capacity, but I will definitely be in a position to help him. But with a resource, with an expertise resource, I may not be in a position to do it. So in order to avoid it, we may have a networking firms, wherein if at all a particular client comes in and there is an international taxation, there is a transfer pricing issue, or there is an appeal issue, so I may be having my resource who is a networking resource who may be in a position to help that particular client, so that the client is always with me and he enjoys entire benefit from a chartered accountant. In order to build that particular capacity as a capacity building measure, this audit quality maturity model is a first step. By implementing AQMM, you will not have expertise, but you will try to have that particular expertise. You will try to have a wonderful standardized solutions and work nature in your regular day-to-day activity. So as a capacity building of the firm, and very importantly, self-evaluation matrix. This is what the key of AQMM, sir. What is the self-evaluation matrix? It is a model question paper given to you. You yourself have to write, you yourself give valuation, you yourself has to identify where you are. So there are multiple set of questions that are asked in this particular AQMM version 1. We have version. So now only we are into version 1. There are multiple versions that we are going to happen. It is going to happen here. So in the version 1, they have given multiple questions with regard to the policies and procedures that are adopted in my firm. Sir, I am an individual, sir. What is the policy and procedure that you are talking about? I am everybody. So there is no, we don't have this partner, that partner, audit manager and all. I am one single person. Whether for me also this is applicable? Answer is yes, sir. Answer is yes. Say for example, you are an individual, morning 10 o'clock, you came to your office and 11 o'clock, there is an income tax appeal. There is an assessment. So you are going with that office. You are the single person. But however, 12 o'clock, some client comes to your office. How your audit assistant or how your office assistant has to handle that particular client without your presence? Are you having a system and policy and procedure? Are you having a methodology to handle that? No, sir. Senior is not there. You come tomorrow, like that. He will be pushing off that particular person. Or what is that process that you have to do? You have already established that particular criteria. So the person, if at all you in your absence, he may say, sir, that sir is there in income tax appeal. He will be coming in half an hour's time. You may come back or half an hour time. You give your phone number, you give your address, you give your name, and these particular data can be collected. And then immediately you may call back. Sir is back. You can come over, like that. There is a process. It is not that if that person is not there, everything will come to a halt. No, that is not the way. The system should operate. Assuming that one of the article resident who is handling return filing for a GST return filing for a particular client, he is on examination leave. Assume that articles is on examination leave. Whether GST returns will be filed or no, after November exams only your GST returns will be filed. Can I tell to my client like that? I cannot. In spite of the person who is handling is absent, my system should take care. Even if he is not there, if at all I log in, if at all I go to my folder, all working should be there. The past workings will be there. And then accordingly, a new person may be trained, or I may be in a position to get out of that particular data and then complete it, because things has to happen. So that is one of the idea in this particular AQMM. It is not a person dependent. It is a system dependent. Are you having that system or not? Is what the question. Sir, in our regular practice methodology, if at all, if we answer all these questions, we may not end up at all. We cannot have it. The point is, are you getting 100 out of 100 is not the question at all. Nobody wants you to get 100 out of 100 also. What is the requirement is, are you in a position to get at least 20 today out of 100? Tomorrow I will be jumping at 30 so that I identify these are all practical, these are all implementable, I implement it. Tomorrow I will be ending up 30. Day after tomorrow I will be going to 40. At one point of time I will come to 60 first class. It is not that I am not for that examination at all. Come pushing off is very easy. Everybody can do that. No, sir. This and all not applicable to me, sir. My client will not listen whatever I am saying. And my articles doesn't whatever they do, they will do like that. If I push off, then everybody can push off. That's not the intention at all. I will beat around it. I will ensure what is the marks that I am able to get it. Very good. Inherent limitation. Yes, sir.
But only thing is implementation of all these things by third accountant.
Super.
Form, maybe a partnership form, maybe a proprietor form.
Correct.
But the what I'm observing. And the entire third accountant. Nobody is come forward to join in CA course. In CA also, previously we have so many institutes to attract CA professional students. Nobody has come forward to join this course. You may not. So,
True. Agreed.
Yeah. Even by advertising you train nobody interested because of very interested in
correct. Yes, sir. I'll also try to address that particular aspect. So it is a self-evaluation matrix. I will just show you what is that impact on the peer review. I think that peer review may not be applicable to me like that. One may go for it. This is what the applicability of peer reviews. It's coming. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. Correct, sir. Correct. See the dependency. See the department's dependency on the CAs, whatever they do, shifting their responsibility to CAs. It's simply they happen, and we have to file 10B, 10BB, and all. The number of questions somewhere around 45 to 50 schedules that answers that we need to make it ready from a charitable institution. And they look at threadbare, sir, I'm running a Goshala. I'm just doing this activity and I'm begging people to have that fodder to that Goshala. And then you are asking these many questions. I don't do this activity at all. Like that, there are people who say that. Right, correct. Correct, correct.
So I feel like implement it.
Sir, we will come out, sir. We will. I will address this your point. We will discuss this, and then I'll address your very valid point. We are always there to meet out the challenges. Being a chartered accountant's profession, challenge is not something new to us. Right from our aggregate, right from your foundation, even if you pass in one particular subject, you need to go for group passing. You need to have aggregate passing. In inter, you need to pass it. Final, you need to pass 3 years of rigorous imprisonment. Someone said during articles. So that and all we have faced, and these are all simple, sir, based on your courage and the capacity in the where you have thought that I am coming for a practice. That itself is the winning strategy that we will be trying to overcome all this. With regard to the peer review, coming back, with regard to the peer review, sir, now there is a mandatory peer review, sir. Previously, peer review was only optional. Again, based on SEBI's regulation, if at all I want to do an audit of a listed entity, I should have done a peer review and then only I can do a listed entity audits. So I was very comfortable. I'm not going to do listed entity and all private, public, limited entities that I'm going to do. Even sole proprietor, I'm going to do some bank audits I used to do. I need not bother about peer review at all. Like that, there were people. But now Institute came out with a mandatory applicability, a mandate on the peer review. What is that mandate? PU's undertaking audit of a listed entity, already it was there. Institute also mandated from 1/4/2022. It is mandatory. So it is an one which is a reconfirmation by the institute, which was an already available provision. But the second, third, and fourth are something important that will have an effect on our regular activity. What is that? PU's proposing to undertake audit of unlisted companies, which is not a listed company, with a capital greater than or equal to 500 crores capital, or turnover greater than or equal to 1,000 crores, loans greater than or equal to 500 crores on previous year as of 31st March, then in that particular case, for that audit, the auditor who is going to do that particular audit should have already had a peer review certificate. He should have undergone a peer review. Or, no, sir, I don't do 1,000 crore turnover, this, that, and all, small entity only, sir. But I am a partnership firm. One partner is in Chennai, another partner is in Guntur, another partner is in Hyderabad, one partner is here at Vijayawada. We have a 5-partner firm where I am the only partner representing that firm here. Then you also will be coming under this particular mandatory peer review. That is PUs having 5 or more partners. 5 or more. It is not more than 5 partners. 5 or more partners. Before accepting any statutory audit, they need to have this particular peer review certificate mandatory. Originally, the mandate was brought in from 1/4/2023 onwards. If at all you want to accept an audit, you should have already hold a peer review certificate. Like that, they mandated. It got further extended to 1/7/2023, and then it is further extended to 1/4/2024 onwards. So the point is, on 1/4/2024, you are going to accept an audit on which any of the criteria will come and categorize, will fall in, then you should have got a peer review certificate mandatory. Or those firms that where you are going to do at the time of signing this particular financial statements, then you should get this particular peer review certificate mandatory here. The next line, sir, I am not a 5-partner more, sir. I am only a 2-partner. I am only a 3-partner firm. Then in that particular case, PUs to take audit of, proposing to take audit of companies having raised funds from public or financial institutions, banks, greater than or equal to 500 crores during the review. The public interest or PUs having 4 or more partners, they need to have this particular 1/4/2024. Okay, I am also not falling under them. Then next another criteria, proposing to take statutory branch audit of a public sector bank. So tomorrow also RBI may come and say that if at all you want to take a bank audit, you should have a peer reviewed firm. Like that, they may bring in a particular regulation like SEBI what brought in. So if at all that comes into, peer review will be a mandatory item. But 1/4/2025 onwards, mandatory, another 2 years time. Another 1 year's time, you will be falling under, all of us will be falling under this particular criteria. Proposing to take SB of public sector banks or PUs having 3 or more partners needs to have a mandatory peer review certificate in this particular case. Why this is relevant for, why AQMM is having a relevance on peer review? Because just a minute, I'll come back for that. Because CAQ plus peer review board, sorry, CAQ plus peer review board joined together, and then only they brought in this particular AQMM. Even though it is published originally by CAQ, whatever that the questions that you are going to face in peer review, same is through this particular AQMM. Also, in the application form for the peer review, there are form number 1 you need to file for doing the peer review. At that point of time, wherever it is a mandatory for them, they need to apply with AQMM also, audit quality maturity model also. Before going into it, what is this AQMM, sir? You are talking about AQMM and all. To whom it is applicable? As of now, it is recommendatory, sir. It is not a mandatory. For these people, it is mandatory. What people? A listed entity. If at all I am a PU who is going to do an audit of a listed entity, then AQMM is mandatory. If at all I am going to do audit of a bank, other than a cooperative bank, that bank we are talking about central statutory audits only, not a statutory branch audit we are not talking. Insurance company, if at all you are going to do audits, or firms doing only branch audits are not covered here. For these people, AQMM is mandatory. For others, AQMM will be mandatory as notified by the institute. As of now, it is not notified. But they are trying to make everyone sensitize on this particular AQMM. You prepare yourself, even the applicability. Prepare yourself, and then once it is applicable, you may end up in a good numbers, is what the intention of the institute here. They classify the firms into 3 types of category based on these 3 evaluations, sir. AQMM is a question paper, I told you. On what it will have questions? It will have questions on these 3 categories. One is practice management related questions, on which maximum marks is 280 marks possible. Human resource management related questions are being asked. Practice management strategic functional related questions can be asked. So that totally it is a 600 mark question paper, out of which how much you are securing is what that we need to identify. Based on my marks, I will be placed into level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 firm, only for the purpose of AQMM, not for the purpose of peer review. Peer review will be treated as the same at par PU only. But for the purpose of AQMM, you will be classified into level 1 firm, level 2 firm, level 3 firm, and level 4 firm. If at all I am able to get only 25% in each of the section, I will be level 1, very, very low level. I am able to secure 25 to 50, up to 50%, I will be in level 2. 50 to 75, I will be in level 3. More than 75, I will be in level 4 form. Technically speaking, in India, based on the questions that is asked, none of the firm will be coming under level 4. No. We may try to end up in level 2 or level 3. If at all we are in level 1, really something is wrong. We need to take appropriate measures to improvise, is what the indicator. It is like a diagnosis, blood test report, or whatever sugar test report that is coming on. These are all not acceptable. It is not normal. Medicative steps has to be taken up, is what the self-diagnosis methodology is, what this particular AQMM, sir. I will just go through, I will just provide you the details of the questions that they are trying to ask. The AQMM is based on SQC1, another new Pandora box that I'm trying to open it. AQMM is based on SQC1. What is this SQC1? Standards on quality control. There is something called the standards on quality control. As the name denotes, it talks about the quality of the firm. It is having a range, different area spectrum, that is about systems and process, how engagement team I am having, firm's leadership who is taking care, HR and admin related aspects who is taking care, IT help desk and tools who is taking care, how it is been implemented, and legal and networking related aspects, how it is taken care, all are being questioned through AQMMs. Please have an openness in your mind in order to go through this particular AQMM. If at all you confine yourself, Sir, I am a single proprietor. How come there is a leadership, ethical, HR, this and all, everything is me. So there is no HR manager, there is no IT tool manager, there is no ethical independence manager. Everything is me, sir. Like that, don't adopt now. You don't see on your present position. The moment you scale it up, definitely we may need to have it. And even then, we may be trying to have the process. You may be the owner. You may be the single person who will be responsible. But what process that you have in IT? When suddenly, when COVID, the sort of novel disease came in, we were into do only through virtual methodology, where we were in a position to adopt it. We don't know how to do it, but we were adopted it. Is anyone come and taught how to go and make a login into Zoom? Is anyone came and taught how to have a virtual meeting? It's all self. I think we have even done a bank audit by sitting in another branch or sitting at home. Yes, it's absolutely new. When there is a necessity, it makes us to invent something new. Similarly, you accept the fact that there are globally, there are a lot of changes, challenges are happening. There are huge changes that is happening, rapid changes that are happening. We will also scale up to that. We will try to scale it up. We need not 100% run at par with them, but we need to take efforts to go along with that particular race. Then only we will be into race is what this particular cross-functional approach based on SQC1, this AQMM has implemented here. We will go for the questions on related areas. Primarily, it is divided into 3, as I told you. In each of this area, they give marks. Practice areas where you practice more. Are you having practice manuals? Are you having quality review manuals? Are you having service delivery and effort monitoring systems and process? Sir, మీరు ఏం అడుగుతారు సార్? ఇది ఎంత మా దగ్గర లేదు సార్. Just like that, you are talking about workflow practice manuals, quality review manuals and all. We don't have it. See, I directly indicate my article assistant to do like this. So he does this work. Even article assistant are not available today. Only paid staff is available. He may be a BCom completed guy. And then I might have indicate him how to do the work. He does the work. I review it and then I sign it. Where is the question of practice manual? Please, we will try to adopt. See, let us go for the questionings here. It is like this. Whether revenue, first question is from revenue from audit and assurance services. If minimum 50% of the revenue is through audit and assurance services, if for the answer is yes, then you give 4 marks to you. Otherwise, 0 marks to you. It is my own questions, my own answers to it. I will just show it to you. Just a minute. I'll just show it to you. Thanks, ma. How it is practically organized. This is, as I told you, this is also a part in the peer review manual, peer review part of application here. This is how the questions are being asked. The answers has to be provided by us. I think it is visible to you. Yes. Sir, whether my revenue from audit and assurance services is 50% to 75%, then 5 marks. If it is more than 75% revenue from audit and assurance services, then you have 8 marks to you. So I put maximum scores is 8 marks, that is allotted. And how I am getting it. In my firm, I have evaluated my practice is more in assurance related area only, which is 75% or more. So I got 8 marks by itself. My peer reviewer who comes and verifies, he will verify, okay, yes, it is right, and then 8 marks. See, only if you go to peer review, then the third column will come. Otherwise, first column and second column only will come. We need to give my marks. What I like my people to do here is, those who are watching through YouTube and also those who are physically present here is, I would like to have this particular AQMM a printout tomorrow, just to look into it, and whatever that is applicable, how much that I may be trying to improvise on this particular areas, like that, you can identify and then put marks on your own. Nothing, nobody is going to stop in giving the right marks to you. So we may be in a position to go for a self-evaluation appropriately. Thank you. We may be in a position to go for a self-evaluation. Say, for example, out of my total income, it is less than 50% is through assurance and more are non-assurance related item. Sir, what do you mean by non-assurance? Non-assurance, say for example, income tax returns, income tax return filing, or due diligence related matters where there is no attestation work that we do, or review activity that is with regard to related services that we perform, all will be treated as a non-assurance services. Otherwise, I do a statutory audit, I do a tax audit, I do an internal audit, I do a concurrent audit, I do a bank branch audit, I do a certification 15 CSCB audit, certification that I do, all will be falling under assurance services only. And accordingly, I may be in a position to get the marks. Tax audit is also an assurance services. Very clear, sir. Whether I am going for 3CA, 3CD, or whether I am going for 3CB, 3CD, both are under assurance services only, and it will be covered under this particular activity here. However, with regard to return filing and all, maybe it will not be a service at all, because income tax return filing, I am only lending my computer or IP address for him to file him. So it is no longer I am going to take up that responsibility with regard to individual return filing. It is all assessee himself came in, he used my infrastructure of IP number, and then he filed the returns. Is what the service that we do. So maybe a shared service that we may be in a position to provide. Definitely not done a service here. Huh. Correct, sir. Correct. You are right. Because return filing is done by the assessee by himself. That's why he got 1 month more, and also he confirms it through his registration that Aadhaar, digital signature, Aadhaar EVC and all, he does it. So it is his own responsibility. No way I am responsible in that. Tax audit only. Correct. Does the firm have a vision and mission statement? Does it address a forward-looking practice statement? Sir, vision, mission and all we don't have, sir. Let us have it. What prevents you from having it? Tomorrow, let us create a vision document. My vision is to ensure that we will be doing a qualitative work always. I have a activity, say for example, in our firm, practically speaking in our firm, we decided we will not go for a paper. We will be going for a paperless office in another 1 year's time is what our target. Today it is not possible because everything is having a paper. We need to have a printout and something is given. We are moving towards an area where we will become a paperless area, where go green is what our policy. We will try to implement wherever possible, like that we are actually moving towards it. So we do all digital. Anything that a paper has to be come in, we will be documenting it and then we will be storing it accordingly, so that we are in a position to go with, we need not search where that particular file is. Exactly, the problem is storage. The point in all documentation here is, it is possible for us to document. That is nothing maybe very difficult for us to document. But the point is retrieval of that is a problem. Exactly, that particular file alone will be missing. Whatever the file that we are searching, that file alone, that year alone for this assessee is missing. So all other files are available, sir, like that. People will come and stay. It's all a lot of difficulties through which we function. So in order to go with a digital storage or paperless office, let us have that particular policy and try to implement is what we have adopted. Sir? Yeah. Yes. Nothing, not possible. We have that particular question at all. Ethical compliance. Even in a tax audit, say for example, sir, 80% of the disciplinary cases with regard to the Institute on Chartered Accountants is on clause 8 of part 1 of first schedule with regard to non-communication to the previous auditor before acceptance in writing. So I need to communicate to the previous auditor. I need not wait for the approval of the previous auditor, but I need to communicate, retain the evidence that it has reached the other party. That's it. Whether previous auditor responds it or not, no problem for me. I may be in a position to do. As a policy, as a system, do you have it? Even before tax audit, it is to be done. For an internal audit, it is to be done. Any type of audit engagement that previously held by another chartered accountant, we need to have this particular clause 8. Even in a bank audit, whether it is required or not. Yes, mandatory it is required. CAG appointed audit. Yes, absolutely 200% it is required. In a bank audit, there is a different scenario. Bank audit, Monday, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, they will be sending the mail. Sir, you have been appointed. You need to give the confirmation by 3 o'clock today. Or even yesterday, like that, they will send. If at all they send, we don't have any surprise. Within 3 o'clock, you need to send this confirmation. And Wednesday, you need to start the audit. Friday, you need to give the audit report. This is what the timeline that they will be usually giving. We are so packed. If that being the case in a bank audit, how come 11 o'clock I got the appointment letter and 3 o'clock I need to give the acceptance? And I need, as per institute, I need to communicate to the previous auditor in writing, wait for a reasonable time and then give my acceptance. So how come it will be possible? Practically speaking, it is an issue. Our institute addresses this. Reasonable time is 5 minutes, sir. Like that they say. Very good. So our code of ethics, recently published code of ethics, beautifully analyzed. There are very, very good work that has been done by the institute. A lot of good, wonderful publications, literature are available, sir. Whenever you find time, just go through. It will be giving a lot of information to us. In such a particular case where there are strict timelines like CAG appointment or a bank audit appointment, the institute suggestion is don't compromise. No, I don't want you to make a phone call, which is not a valid methodology to communicate. The institute says you make a conditional acceptance to the banker. You communicate to the previous auditor and you intimate to the banker, sir, as per our institute, I need to communicate to the previous auditor. Then only accept the. However, because of your timelines, we are giving this communication subject to the approval of the communication from the previous auditor. Like that, you make it 99.9999% in a branch audit case. The previous auditor may not say, no, don't accept the audit. My fees is pending. The client has not given data. Like that, he is not going to say. So it should not be a problem. But you need to make that particular communication is what the institute suggestion is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 5 lakhs. Okay. Okay. Super. Correct. Okay. Excellent. Super. That's the hand-holding activity that is done by the institute. That's what professionalism is. It is not an auto wala when one person you have 100. No. Means next person will be there for 90 rupees. That's not the case here. We are all professionals. It is not that his audit, I'm going to take it up, grab from him and then to make my money. No, that's never our intention is. So the institute also makes it very clear with regard to an undisputed audit fee that is pending to the previous auditor. If it is because of a dispute and various other aspects, that's a different issue. If it is an undisputed audit fee that is pending on account of the previous auditor, the incoming auditor shall not accept this particular audit. So let them make activities to clear off that particular dues, as sir is rightly pointing out very live examples here. Absolutely true. That's how ethically we comply with. So in our office, in my office, what is the policy that we have? Say for example, a new client comes in, a tax audit client comes in. Usually what you will say, sir, previously I was filing audit with one particular auditor. At that time he was very small and then doing my business. Now he is becoming very big. He is not listening to me or he is not even seeing me. So I want to file with you. Everybody says that you are the right person to do that. So please do the audit, sir, for me. Like that, he will come and give this paper. Very good. Like that, I will take it up also. But without communicating to the previous auditor, if I do it, previous auditor may be waiting for me to go and make a file comment with the here. That can never happen here. Assuming I am asking who is your previous auditor. No, sir, I am not very sure. I cannot do it. I need to ask who is your previous auditor. Get a very clear aspect in that regard. He gives some previous auditor address. And then I am communicating to that previous auditor. Sir, there are 2 points in this. Can I communicate through emails? Is what a question. Emails was not permitted. Till COVID time, emails was not permitted. It is to be only in a physical mode, not in an email mode or WhatsApp mode and all. But however, during COVID, institute came out with an advisory that emails are permitted, provided conditions are there. What is the condition? The email address to which you are sending should be an official email ID registered with the institute of that previous auditor. And there should not be any bounce back. If that too is not there, then you can communicate through email is what guidance that is provided by the institute. Can I send it through phone calls or WhatsApp, this, that, and all. Absolutely not permitted, which is not a official mode. It should be only in writing. That's the important aspect here. Another important aspect is I have communicated, the person gives me an address. I have sent a communication through registered post to the previous auditor. Now the post comes back to me stating that addressee not found, door lock not found, like that. I have it. Whether have I fulfilled the requirement of communicating to the previous auditor? Because the institute guidance is I have to communicate to the previous auditor, ensure that it has reached the previous auditor, wait for a reasonable time, then only you accept it. That's what the protocol. In this case, whatever that I have communicated has not even reached the previous auditor, then how come, what is the recourse available to me? Is it to be treated that I have communicated or I have not communicated? It's a valid address. What is the address that is given to me? A valid address. Valid address, but it found address is not found, like that. It is coming back to me. In that case also. Huh?
Previous address, phone number, all
not required. Correct. Phone number is not required, sir. Because phone, anyway, I'm going to do only in address, physical communication only. Again, Institute Code of Ethics gives me the clarity in this regard. The moment I have communicated, I receive back stating that the addressee not found or door locked, like that, it will be treated as a deemed communication. There ends my responsibility. I need not go and beg back. Where is that particular person? I need to go and catch him and then give the letter. No, that is no longer my responsibility. It will be treated as a deemed communication. Document the reason, provide for it further. Tomorrow, I'll also maintain that particular letter, cover that deemed communication, that addressee not found and all for your evidence purposes, so that whenever there is a future case that you may be in a position to substantiate that. So all these are all process, sir. There is a methodology. However, I can do, yes, I can do, but there is a process to be followed. Whether those processes are there or not is what exactly the purpose of this particular AQMM. Workflow, yeah. Huh. No. This communication also they are taking action, sir. Definitely yes. Definitely yes, sir. With regard to DC proceedings is concerned, 2 sitting central council members will be there and 2 government nominees will also be there. So they take it very, very seriously, especially after 2017. After 2017 CA, the entire DC mechanism is something very robust now. They take every action. There is a disciplinary committee, board of discipline is there. Disciplinary directorate will prima facie will identify whether this particular case will fit or not. There is a prima facie evidence or not. If it is yes, then they will give it to disciplinary committee or board of discipline as the case may be based on the complaint. Otherwise, if that is not a valid complaint at all, the directorate itself, they will be rejecting it. They take actions. They take action. Availability of standard formats like letter of engagement, representation letter, significant working papers, reports and implementation thereof. Are you having a standard format? I cannot say these standard formats are not applicable to me because I am a single proprietor. No, not possible. It is applicable to us. Because, sir, let us take this particular point very, very clear. The standards on auditing that are issued by the institute are applicable right from everybody. The moment you do an audit of financial statements, that's it. The moment you are going to do an audit of financial statements, whether it may be for an individual, whether it may be for a firm, it may be for a trust, it may be for a hospital, it may be for a private limited, public limited, listed, foreign, whomsoever it may be, the moment you do an audit of financial statement, it need not be under Companies Act. It may be a non-corporate entity also. Still, the moment you do an audit of financial statement, standards on auditing shall be mandatorily applicable. Unlike your accounting standards, which say these are all level 1, level 2, level 3 for these, this is not applicable like that. There are certain carve-outs. That carve-out even that is not available in standards on auditing is concerned because it is squarely applicable to every audit. So in that particular case, letter of engagement is nothing but a compliance of SA 210. I need to necessarily comply with that. Representation letter is nothing but a compliance of SA 580, management's representation letter. Without that, I cannot complete my audit. My significant working papers, very, very base essays, essay 230 that talks about my audit documentation. Without that, I cannot proceed further. And lastly, my reports and implementation thereof, like my essay 700, read with 705, emphasis matters, 706, emphasis other matter, like key audit matter, like that. We have reporting standards from 700 to entire 700 series. All are nothing but standards on auditing compliance. Sir, the moment I am taking up an audit, the moment it is in a small area or a jurisdiction or a bigger metropolitan city, it doesn't make a difference at all. Audit is audit. That's it. So whatever that the minimum that is required to be complied with, whatever the standards and the quality that we need to maintain for it, we have to maintain. If nobody in this particular city is maintaining, very good for you. You start maintaining it. You will be a top-notch professional there. If everybody in this particular city is maintaining, definitely all the more you have to also require. Otherwise, you will not be in the race at all. So we need to take utmost care in order to ensure that we are trying to implement. Not as I told you right from the beginning, not 100% may be applicable to you. Small and less complex entities need not comply with those that of a listed entity. For listed entity, there will be a huge requirements. Where you have a key audit matter to be reported, going concern has to be evaluated, related party has to be disclosed, corporate governance has to be done. That and all not there for you, no problem. Not applicable, say not applicable. I will give an analogy in every meeting that I used to give this particular analogy. You are doing an audit of a private limited company, sir, in this small town, Vijayawada, where there is a private limited company, ABC Private Limited. Husband and wife are the directors. They hold 100% of the shareholding here. Since there is no public money that is involved, not a public substantially interested company, no bank borrowings, no other exposure at all, can I say for this particular private limited company, since it is operating in a small town, since there is no public exposure, AGM need not be conducted. Can I say so? Yes, sir.
This also actually happens.
Yes, sir.
Life and husband, private company, with chartered accountant and company secretary, went on with the
Complaints, yearly complaints. Very good. Super, correct. Exactly. That's the problem. Yeah, you are right, sir. You are exactly on the card. Exactly on the card. See, the point is, whether it may be a small entity or a multi-corporate conglomerate, all the compliances of the Companies Act are applicable unless otherwise it is exempted by the Act. So I need to go for a meeting. I need to pass a resolution. I need to have AGM typical. It is a paper AGM or not, a A4 sheet of compliance is mandatory for me. In order to protect the entity and its interest and its complaints, we are doing all this. Why not to protect our own interest? We document all this. Where an engagement letter is nothing but a format. You take a printout of it, get a signature, over. Sir, whether that format is available or not, beautifully available. All the formats are readily available. Click of a mouse, it is there at your system. Sir, client may not accept to sign all this and all. No. If you, for companies at the time of compliance, last a bundle you give to the client to sign, no, he will sign everything. So whatever the compliance is to be done, you put a signature, he will do all this particular signature. As sir is rightly pointing it out, husband and wife, when there is a divorce issue, the other party may sue the auditor. See, for the problem of them, the professional who is trying to protect the interest of the entity is getting sued. Because as per Companies Act, minimum 2 directors has to sign. If one person is signing, other person is not signing, gone. It is not a valid. Correct. See, now what they do is, sir, a very good strategies that are given by some of the advocates is, you make a complaint against the institute of that particular person, against the institute, chartered accountant. Then you lodge a complaint. Based on that particular complaint, you also lodge a complaint in the civil court. So this will be adding evidence to the problem, and then you get yourself solved. Whether the chartered accountant, whatever happens, let it happen to you. So you will be going behind every professional to ensure that you are a very clear person and all to fight with that. So why to fight with that? Let us fight with our A4 papers. Let us take that printouts. Letter of engagement, management representation letter, significant documentation is just a signature, just a paper that is there. A4 paper, comply. What prevents us to comply? The point is acceptance, filling up the teacup. If at all we have already filled up this with water, if I pour further water, it will come out. Because we don't have accept why I need to follow is what the problem is. The moment I think that I have to follow, I have to implement on this, you need not do anything. You let us do your article assistant to start doing it. Your audit staff to stop doing it. Sir, any person who comes in, sir, you go to a hospital, sir, major main hospitals in Chennai and all. If at all I want to go and meet, I take one big hospital, ABC hospital like that. If at all I want to go and meet the doctor, before going to meet the doctor, the receptionist will ask whether this is the first time you are coming or already you are a patient, you are a visitor. No, madam, this is the first time I am coming. Very good, sir. One particular form will be given, KYC form will be given. Along with that, 500 rupees fees will be collected for registration, not for consultation. For registration, to put a file for you, I need to maintain your database. Next 2 years later, you come in, I need to give your file to you. We also maintain the same file. Past 15 years file, we will be maintaining it. Nothing. Paying fees by itself may not be paid. That's a different issue. What is the question of filing fees? The point is, they have a process. Leave about the money at all. They have a process. Unless you register here, you cannot meet the doctor. Now I want to meet the doctor. Please pay the fees, or after paying the fees, visiting the doctor, he will say collect 100 rupees, 1,000 rupees, 5,500 rupees, whatever the money, you have to go for it. I'm for a child specialist. Day before yesterday, 3 days back, I went along with my kid to have. She's having cold cough and all. Normal, nothing specific. Cold cough. 1-2 minutes he verified, and then okay, normal only. Some prescription he has made. Okay, 600 rupees fees. Without paying the fees, I cannot step out of that particular hospital. Can it happen in our practice firm? In a case where there is a capital gain, huge capital gain it was, and we were in a position to help out the client by whatever the legal ways, methodologies that are available, right from 54 onwards, whatever 54 A, B, C, D, E, G, F, H, EC, whatever the sections that are there available. It's not something evasion of tax. Managing that particular tax, we advised it, and then a huge capital, that cost of inflation index and all we computed, and very rightly we got the fair value of 2001 and all. We worked a lot to save some money of that particular client, which is possible. And then I worked a lot, and then I gave a fees. There is a huge tax saving for them. Some 50 to 60 lakhs of minimum tax savings was there. So we asked a fees of 20,000 rupees. It's a 20,000 rupees. So the client looked at me, sir, what is this 20,000 you are billing? I have not paid 20,000 fees in my lifetime for taxation. This is the answer. No, sir, this is a work that is involved, sir. What is the work involved, sir? Only Excel sheet you are preparing, no? For Excel sheet, why it is 20,000, sir? A broker who is sitting outside a road and he is showing this is the building for which you need to purchase. 1% of brokerage is to be paid out from your pocket. The buyer will pay 1%. The seller will be, he is like an income tax department, TDS, right from the beginning, he is getting it. From a professional, if I do all this work and all this tax computation, if I ask 20,000 fees, they will be looking right from top to bottom, why I have to pay this fees. And I will speak to the senior partner and then try to reduce the fees, this, that, or whomsoever you want to meet, you meet, sir. Otherwise, you free of cost. I don't want to have any fees from you, sir. Let it be a free of cost. Let me do a CSR activity also, like that I told specifically. See, that's the status where we need to try to.
Yes, sir. We are educating the client. He is going to roaming around. So before that, it's what we are doing. Most of the people collect the advance before even opening our mouth. It's
beautiful. That's good. That's good.
This can be detected in the main fee.
That's good. Fine. Before that, all this Google, there is one another chartered accountant is there. ChatGPT. I told you, what will be the CAA? He will come and say, CAA will be applicable. Short-term capital gain applicable. Can we go and speak to a doctor like that? You are a doctor or not? Keep your mouth shut. That's what he will be. I know what I am going to do. But for chartered accountant, they will come and ask, sir, whether capital gain indexation will be applicable, this will be applicable. We do our work properly. Please cooperate. That's what the point is. So as you rightly pointed out, let us go for an advance. Nothing wrong in it. Institute doesn't prevent it. Institute permits it. Progressive fees billing is possible. Why should we do charity? Exactly. We are not, my senior always used to say that chartered account, CA means chartered accountant and not charitable accountants. No, charity, there is no business. In business, there is no charity. That's it. Straight. Correct. Yes, sir. Very much yes, sir. Very much yes. Sir, as per Information Technology Act, which overrides all other law in the land. మా దగ్గరే ఉంది. మా దగ్గర ఉంది మీరు చెప్పకూడదు దేనికంటే void ab initio, because as per Information Technology Act, the digital signature should be with the person who is the owner of that particular digital signature. If some other person affixes, then it is void ab initio. Very good. Everybody is having a box for that matter. So let us do that. Do it. No problem at all. We may document like that. It's getting recorded also. Authorizing it? No, even authorization not possible. Not possible. Not permitted. For an item which is not permitted, authorizing that activity is no longer valid. Straight. My signature, I only can send. You put my signature like that, I cannot authorize anybody else. Straight. So it's similar to that of a physical signature. He is doing it digitally. That's the only point. So Information Technology Act is very clear. Anyhow, as you have rightly pointed out, we can very much ask the client to do the signature, digital signature of the LOEs and all this particular representations letter. Ensure that the representation letter is there at least dated one day before the audit report date. That's another important point. My audit report date and engagement letter, representation letter cannot be later than that. So that are all checks and balances. We all do, auditors, we do everything. So we may be in a position to comply that also. So if it is there, you get 8 marks. If you don't have, then 0 marks. Now, you go and analyze within our firm, am I having LOE? Am I having representation? Am I having documentation? I may have 0 today. No problem. Let me accept it. But tomorrow when I do, next another 6 months later, if I do, it should not be 0. It should be 8. Then what I have to do? Start processing now. Based on this evaluation, I need not do everything today itself. Whatever that are mandated, like an oxygen, it is to be done today itself. For an oxygen meter, I cannot wait for let me improve and then have an oxygen meter. No, oxygen meter has to be immediately there. It's a life-saving activity. Similarly, these are all certain life-saving activity. My vision and mission statement can be at any point of time. It may be a recommendatory. If it is there, I do. Otherwise, no problem. But here, these are all mandatory compliance. Otherwise, it will be a non-compliance of standards on auditing. Sir, in my audit report, I give a declaration in the auditor's responsibility paragraph. We conducted our audit as per standards on auditing. Like that, we are giving a declaration. So the moment we are saying that very openly, that we are saying voluntarily, we are saying that we have conducted our audit as per standards on auditing. If we have not complied with these standards on auditing, these are all basics. We have not complied with standards on auditing. Obviously, my statement will be a false statement. Then it will be an intentional false statement. Even section 147 of the Companies Act will be applicable. 447 of the Companies Act will be applicable. My professional ethics clause part 2 will be applicable. All will be applicable, sir. Today it is not applicable. That's a different story, sir. I am practicing for 40 years, sir. Not even a single question, sir. Yes, that was the region. Today that is not the case. Today, in order to income tax file a return, I need to open AAS, BAS, SIS, like that. I need to open everything and then cross verify. Then only I can file my return. I cannot ignore AAS. I cannot ignore 26 AAS. Yes. I cannot ignore TAS. 3 different numbers that I am getting. Double number. Once I get the company which issues dividend will give dividend. The bank which through which it is routed, the bank will intimate it. The demat account agent who is through which that particular dividend is there, he is also reporting dividend. 3 times. TDS, registration department. Correct. Obviously, yes. No, this is also in a way is good only, sir. Technology is growing up. Client will never open his mouth about this particular land sale at all. He will not open or the sale of shares at all, or rental. My rental, the person who is there occupant would have claimed HRA, that particular company. Obviously, data are available. The moment I say, sir, you have a property, what you are doing with that property? No, sir, it is self-occupied, sir. Very vacant only, sir. It is vacant only, sir. But there is one Janardhan who is claiming HRA. He is working in TCS, sir. He has claimed 20,000 rupees HRA, sir. Is that person is there sitting or it's a fake entry? Oh, Janardhan, yes, sir, he is there. 1 year, last year, okay, sir, last year he is there. That is what that we are asking for. So, if at all we ask, they will try to give. So, these are all technology gives at a click of a mouse, sir. Tomorrow, the way in which we are moving towards the area where GST is so developing and income tax is also giving a huge handshake. My entire P&L department may be in a position to detect it, maybe in a position to blow it. I need to just give a confirmation. Yes, no, that's it. So we are moving towards a different area with the help of technology. So what I want to convey here is adopt that, enable that by way of the systems and process in order to protect us, in order to protect ourselves first, because we are protecting the client, we are protecting the government interest. I don't say if a tax is to be paid, I don't say don't pay the tax. I always say pay tax with interest. If we are protecting the interest of the client, we are protecting the interest of the government, we are protecting the interest of various stakeholders who are there, we are protecting the interest of the banker, we are protecting the interest of the lenders, we are protecting the interest of the stakeholders. Without protecting us. Exactly, that's the point. We don't have the vaccination at all. What is the vaccination available? Documentation is the only vaccination available. No other vaccination available. Please. Because when there is a disciplinary issue, please prove with your paper. On what basis you have accepted this engagement? Show me the engagement letter. I may not have it. Just a A4 sheet over. Had I done that particular point of time, A4 sheet, had I communicated, all will be at my back. The moment I don't have it, everything is, I am answerable, I am at a questionable area, whatever the practice that I have gained, whatever the reputation that I have gained, or just tossed in a particular hall, it should not happen. In order to ensure the quality, we are not that much of negligence. Definitely no. We do very, very careful audits, sir. We do very, very reasonable audits. My principal does not even sign a signature without making one correction. At least margin. This Caro and all, I would have, when I am doing articles, I would have taken 10 times of Caro. Caro 27th, 6 p.m. Caro 27, 8 p.m. Caro revised, Caro finalized, like that we would have gone for revision and all. That much of care and caution is being taken while doing that particular audit. Same care and caution to be gone for documentation also. My AQMM is one of the wonderful initiative to self-assess, am I having it or not? There are certain very good questions are also there here with regard to, I'll go for those particular questions also. Maybe are we having awareness meetings and knowledge dissemination meetings, articles, document sharing with the clients? Are me educating my clients? Say for example, this is a advance tax has to be paid on this particular due date. My TDS has to be paid on this particular due date. Am I educating them or not? I'm doing it. Document that particular thing. What you are doing, I'm sending a mail to all the clients, sir, this is your due date, please comply with that. Like that, I may go for a mail. That will be a process of compliance that I am already doing. Me make it proper, make it so channelized so that I will ensure that it is automatically taken care. Technology adoption with regard to office internal communication chats, am I having it or not? Say for example, my office may have a WhatsApp group. So this is what the work to be done. This is what the item that is pending, like that I may communicate, or whatever the new notification, whatever the developments that are happening or updates, I am communicating with my team. Educating my team is so important because they are the one who are in the field. I may be in a position to sign it. I am not going to the field. So the person actually who is going to the field is the people who are into my team. So are you educating them? Are you enabling them? Are you having a attendance system and leave management system? Are you having an automated attendance system? Sir, my office, I have only 5 people. I don't have automated attendance system and all. I have a physical maintenance. Very good. You have a physical system. Very good. But when you go up, you need to evaluate. It is not mandatory. I need to have an automated system only. There should be a system of attendance is what something important. Through emails also they may communicate, or in a client place that they are sitting, I am in this particular place, like that you may track it. That will be a good activity for them. So digital storage of records, WhatsApp, system. There is some system of maintenance to be there with regard to their compliance of the digital library. Are you having a digital library? Like, say, for example, I have subscribed for Taxman. I have subscribed for this particular knowledge management system websites. Am I having a physical library, latest books that I am going for it? Because these are all our assets. We are actually invest on this particular assets. Are you having it or not? Video conferencing facilities, you have it. Whether licensed operating system only, I do it. All these are all small aspects, but it is having an effect on our ethics cultures. My articles will say, in my office, in my principle is very clear that he will go only for licensed system. There is no pirated that will never operated in our office. It increases the image. It increases the image and the quality aspect of our entire firm, so that we always go with the appropriate one rather in this pirated one or not, something like that. Are you having a own email domains? Are you using an appropriate antivirus? Data security, you are having it or not? Like that, for all this, I will have 4 marks, 0 marks, like that. The marks will also be given. I have a WhatsApp chat facility. Yes, 4 marks. You get 4 marks. So accordingly, we need to go for it. Here, one of the important point in AQMM that we need to understand here is, I cannot give partial marks. If a question is asked for 4 marks, it can be either 4 or 0. So I cannot give 2 or 3. Okay, I have implemented halfway, like that. I cannot go for it. I need either full or no. So it's on off switch button. Either on or off. 1 or 0 should be the numbers here. And then this is another aspect, sir. Whether client-wise revenue is in compliance with Code of Ethics. Currently, fees from one client should not exceed 40% of the total revenue unless safeguards are in place. What safeguards? What is this requirement? Say, for example, my total fees that I receive is in a year is 1 crore, assuming that 1 crore. 40 lakhs of that particular fees is from a particular client or its group companies. Then the point is, there may be a possibility of compromise. What is the compromise? Because my entire revenue, 40% of my revenue is totally dependent on them. Even if they violate, I may try to consolidate or try to compensate on that particular area or compromise on certain integrity aspects. So it should not be there like that. It should be tried to minimize to 15% by itself is high. So we need to try to liquidate to 15. That means you need to grow your practice area so that this 40% is getting liquidated to 15%. It is not that I need to send off that particular client. That's not the intention. You increase the base so that it becomes a lesser percentage on the concentration here. Even in peer review, there is one question, whether any of the client, whether are you having a fees of 15% or more? If the answer is yes, then that particular client should be mandatorily selected for sample by the peer reviewer. That is also an activity here.
What is the sample?
The sample that will be verified by the peer reviewer. Peer review, the peer reviewer will not review all the items that you do. Sir, can I have the charger, sir? Ramesh, sir? Battery slow. The point is, peer reviewer will not do all the assurance service that you have verified, sir. He will take samples based on the criteria given by PRB. On that, if my fees is 15% or more from a client, then I need to have, I have given, sir. Then I need to necessarily take that particular item as a sample. 3 years, last 3 years. Don't look the children. That's to minimum recommended by ICA. Am I doing it within the scale of fees that is prescribed by the ICA? Because they tell the minimum recommended fees. It's based on the geographical and it's based on the size of your firm. They prescribe the minimum fees. It's only a minimum fees that my fees cannot be lesser than that particular minimum fees is what the institute says. Am I going it or not like that? I need to go for providing it. Is there a method of tracking the employee activity to identify resource or productivity? Am I having a timesheet? Or how you track that particular employee working? Say, for example, you have an article notebook where today morning, these are all the items that I write like that. They do it on a day-to-day basis. Are you reviewing it? how you are capturing the work done by the employees or the staff or the article assistant. Are you having a methodology or not? If at all you don't have a methodology, try to implement it. Tomorrow onwards, you just make a, there is no sophisticated software tool, this, that, and all we are talking about. Simple notebook, a diary, employee diary or an article diary, where you cannot simply write GST return processing like that. No. What you have done, how much time you have taken for what client that you have done, like that, there should be a process follow-up, so that it will be easy for us to go and review where we are spending more time, where we are billing less, where there is a more time consumption that's happening. Like that, we may be in a position to evaluate here. Here, one activity that I always used to tell, sir, assuming 8 hours is what the normal working time for my staff, I always say 7:1 ratio. 7 hours, let him work. 1 hour, let him capture or document whatever he has worked. Our documentation, 60% of the problem will be solved here. Whatever the documentation, say for example, I'm going to a tax audit where I work, I verify certain data, and then I do this particular data for 7 hours. 1 hour you document or you get the evidences, that is put it in a file or arrange it in an orderly manner or sequence it as a part of documentation. 1 hour per day. So automatically the process of documentation will happen. Automatically it will be a culture, work culture. It is not a documentation, will be a separate activity. Very importantly, documentation, what happens is, the problem in documentation is, assuming there is a statutory audit is getting completed by a team of 4 people. What we will be doing is, after audit, I will assign the leader of the team. You document next 1 week, no other work except for documentation. You document like that, I will assign. What he will do is, he may be going for leave or he may be going for another audit. He will give that entire documentation file to a junior person who is also a part of the team. You prepare the documentation like that, he will go to the next one. What this junior person will do? Sequentially, he will just put it in an orderly manner, put an index, put it in a file, documentation over, like that he will complete it. That's not documentation. That is absolutely not documentation. That is only filing. What is documentation? As per standards on auditing SA 230, documentation should explain the process and procedures and the work that I have performed in that particular audit. Say, example, a bank balance of 10 lakhs that I certify, I need to have a bank certificate. It should be there in my working paper. On what basis you assign the balance sheet? On this particular basis, like that, tomorrow, in order to substantiate my claim, I need to have that particular documentation done. So 7:1 is a very, very effective methodology to start documenting on 1 hour basis, on a daily basis. All, if at all they start implementing, it will be a huge success in a slow process, in a progressive manner. They may be in a position to do it. Does the firm have an employee training policy? Number of professional development hours spent, frequency as per a firm. Your CPE hours, you have, luckily you have annual membership fees and all. Mandately, you need to go for payment of the fees, and then there is a professional development activities that are been happening. For employees, at least for CAs that we have CPE programs, this, that, and all. For employees, how I am training, how I am updating. Are we having, some of the good firms have this policy, like every week, Saturday, 1 hour, they will be sitting on discussing on this, or once in a month, the last Saturday or the third Saturday, like that, they will sit in a month and then they will discuss the updates. They educate the team. In one of the firm where I went for peer review purpose, I asked, what is the frequency in which you give employee updation and all? They say on a daily basis. Oh, you are sending WhatsApp? No, sir. Daily training program will happen. How come daily training program will happen? Yes, sir, we do it. Daily morning, 11 o'clock, we will turn the chairs, we will sit inside, and then one article has to speak about a particular topic or a related topic. One particular article for 15 minutes, 11 o'clock to 11:15. That's it. No other time. Only 11 to 11:15. Definitely morning they come out and then they do activity. There should be a break. So 11 to 11:15, we also have a tea. The servant will come and serve the tea. We will discuss for 15 minutes and then we turn the chairs and then we work. Daily basis we do, sir. This is the record. I thought it is something theoretically they are talking about. Actually, they do it. In another very big firm, this is an Indian firm, they do every Friday morning, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, we have training all over the branches. All the branches, they connected through Zoom. They have branches in multiple places, 4 to 5 places, branches. All the people, they will connect it. Friday morning, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, no other activity other than training. Including the senior partners will be coming and attending the training. This is happening. So there are methodologies they try to implement. So it's a work culture. That may not be immediately adopted by me, but slow and steady, something is to be implemented so that the quality will be improvising is what the criteria. So are you doing it? If you do it accordingly here. Technology like AI, blockchain, slowly we will be trying to implement this data analytics and tools. There are data audit tools are there available. How effectively we are using the audit tools and all will be a part of my questionnaire. Whether the firm has a performance management culture that rewards high performing employees and those who demonstrate high levels of quality and ethics. Say, for example, employee of the month. In our client, we are saying that employee of the month, you put a star performer and all. Why can't we adopt it in our office? Very good articles of this month. It's a appreciation, sir. Everything cannot be moved through money. There is some motivational factor that is to have. After all, they are all students and kids, where we motivate them. He is a star performer of this month. He is one audit finding. This particular audit finding is extraordinarily as found out. Like that, if you give the credit, the energy levels with which they are going to work for the next future is something abnormal. And the person who is seeing him, tomorrow my photo should be there as a star performer, like that, the way in which he is working. It's all automatic development of the activity. All these are all small items, but it is having a very, very effective and realistic methodology to improvise our quality and performance here. Bonus. Yes, very good. That's also monetarily we need to go for it. September bonus, Navaratri bonus, or September tax audit heavy. Work is heavy. They need to be motivated, sir. After all, everybody is working for money only. So the moment you give it, it's really a boost. It will be helping them also. And we get the satisfaction. We also get the loyalty. That's more important. That's more important in any activity. That's the problem with software. In software, 1 year on year, they jump into companies, but that's not happening in an audit firm. Maybe 10 years you may, or 20 years you may have one particular employee with you or one office assistant with you. It's because of the loyalty that they have on us. The way in which you have also taken care. There is a person who is taking care like that. He has to believe, then automatically this employee turnover ratio. There is another question. What is the employee turnover ratio? Employee turnover ratio may be nil, except for articles they need to come and go. Otherwise, every employee is with me like that. I may be in a position to go for it. Your monetary benefit is definitely an important item. That's what rewards high performing employees. Rewards through monetary as well as non-monetary. Both, it includes both here. Monetary, it's a very good thing. In peer review also, there is a specific question. Monetarily, are you compensating performance so that the performance can be enriched here? There is also another important question. As you told that September, the work is high. I'll tell you that particular question. Obviously true. Special, there is one specific question. I like this question most. Special policies, well, the question is asked by AQMM to you, the firm. Special policies to provide people time to rejuvenate, especially after busy audit sessions. Are you providing special policies to provide people to time to rejuvenate? It's like garden parking, team lunch. October 1 and 2 holiday. Yeah. Every firm, sir. Every firm same methodology. So this year, I think Saturday is the 31st. No? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday you should be there. Fortunately, Gandhi was on October 2nd. So leave time to rejuvenate. Okay, rejuvenate and come back on Tuesday morning. Correct. Maybe a team outing. Maybe a nearby place as a tour or a get together. Garden party. Yeah. All these are all linking factors or bonding factors which helps us to ensure that we are maintaining this particular aspect. We are maintaining the employee work rapport and all. And then standards of recruiting people, how you are, sir, getting articles by itself is very difficult, sir. What's the question of standardization and all? At least I have only, if at all you have completed this, I will be taking up. For articles, only if one group has completed, then I will take it up articles like that. There may be certain methodology or a simple questionnaire, whether you are able to understand this and all like that. There may be a simple questions. After that, you may be in a position to enroll them. Post-qualification certifications like DISA, IP and all CPE requirements, whether all the parts have completed CPE requirements of ICAI. These are all very important and fundamental aspects so that my quality is getting improvised here. How come by way of CPE your quality is getting improvised? Mandately, yes, CPE is there because something new, that's what in CPE that they try to go and educate, so that we try to implement. Definitely it is having an effect on our work culture. Yes, sir. Huh. Correct. True. True. Any day, on some day. Correct. Correct. My senior, absolutely right, sir. My senior used to tell, he used to go to a particular bookshop and then he'll get 1,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees worth of book, 5,000 worth of book, a big book. Sir, why you are investing on 5,000 rupees on a particular book, sir? He'll say, even if one particular point in this particular book is going to help me, I may be in a position to build 10,000 rupees for a person. Then I have 100% of the investment I've been got back. My asset is also me. The same knowledge is going to be multiplied. It is not going to be minus. The knowledge is such a wonderful thing that it doesn't know the art of subtraction. It only knows the art of multiplication. So that's what knowledge sharing. Jnana deepena bhasvata. Jnana is like a deepam. It will always flourish and it will not, the art of subtraction is not there. So we try to multiply with the knowledge levels what we have, as sir is rightly pointing it out. Even if one particular point is going to help me that particular time, I am whatever the investment that I have made. Incidentally, it's also a compliance. I met my friends and then a networking that also happens. It's always a win-win situation only and never a negative item here. Similarly, practice management related aspects are being there, whether you are complied with Code of Ethics, Companies Act regulatory requirement, specifically relating to independence and conflict of interest. In Companies Act, Section 144 talks about restriction, where the auditor, statutory auditor, cannot do the following activities like internal audit. I cannot be banking, investment advisory and all I cannot do. And there are disqualifications. Am I maintaining a list of clients where I am disqualified, where I cannot take up the audit? Say, for example, I got a housing loan in Bank of India for 30 lakhs. So if that being the case, if at all I am indebted to the company for a value more than 5 lakhs, I cannot be eligible to do audit. Even statutory branch audit, my firm is ineligible to do that. So I need to have that big list. Because of me not telling this information to my firm got a Bank of India audit, branch audit or central statutory, then it will be a non-compliance. For my part, my firm is going to get affected. So I need to educate. We need to have a independence policy. Again, there is an independence policy, like everybody who is into audit has to give this declaration on a year-on-year basis that we have not compromised, we have not accepted hospital gifts and all. We are doing it with without compromise of the independence like that. They need to give an independence declaration so that will be a part of my documentation again. So is there a conflict or is there a whistleblower policy? Like that, not only for companies, whistleblower policy, even for audit firms that we may have a whistleblower policy, a compliance or redressal can be addressed here. Number of branches and associates and network firms and affiliates. The branch level is centralized or decentralized? Are there adequate digital audit tools? All these are all related to my practice related the one, whether the firm is having an ICA peer review certificate, whether are you empaneled with RBI and EAG. Here, there is also a negative point. That's another interesting factor, like your foundation examination, where a negative marks is also provided. Here also, there are in AQMM only positive marks, but for certain questions, there are negative marks also. Is there an advisory as well as a decision to not to allot work due to unsatisfactory performance by the CAG office to your firm? If answer is yes, then -5. 0 is the best mark that I can get. So in this particular question, so I need to go for it. Is there I am a blacklisted or is there a disciplinary activity? Is there a disciplinary issue like that? I need to go for it. Any negative assessment in the report of the quality review board, whether has been a case of professional misconduct on the part of the member of the firm where you have been proved guilty. If yes, then -5, otherwise it is 0. Like that, the marks are getting allotted here. Again, accordingly, a grand total to be given, and based on your grand total, the marks, the level of the firm can be identified here. That's it. So these many questions are specific asked. Just a minute. These many questions are specifically asked so that just a minute. I'm coming for some practical aspects, sir, apart from this. Let me go with some, along with this AQMM, let us have certain practical aspects for conceptual clarity with regard to compliances, so that we have this maintained at our office, irrespective of whether AQMM is mandatory, this, that, and all. Pre-audit correspondence, appointment letter, consent letter, communication with the previous auditor, and also a minimum client acceptance checklist, whether like a KYC. Institute also mandates this particular KYC, like all the details of the auditee, and also the engagement letter mandately to be obtained, sir. And also letter of confirmation as per SA 505, where I need to go and obtain external confirmation letters wherever it is considered to be material in the financial statements. Representations by the management as per say 5.8 I need to obtain. The formats are available. Very ready-made formats are available. I may even give the link for getting that particular formats. Recently, there is a beautiful booklet checklist that is provided by CAQ, where there are two types of books that are available. One is, it's a freely downloadable form. I will be in a position to circulate that also. Standard-wise compliance formats and all they have given separately, and standard-wise checklist also given separately. So what are all the points that I need to cover so that I am complying with all the legal and regulatory requirements? Because doing an audit, I need to comply with not only standards, but also all the legal and regulatory requirements here, including Companies Act compliances and all, CARO requirements and all. Correspondence with regard to significant matters relating to SA 240, 260, 265, 701. 701 may not have a direct effect. Key audit matters. As of now, it is applicable only for listed entities. For others, if at all you want, you can give, otherwise not required. 240 is on very important frauds. So I need to have working paper that whatever the frauds that is brought to my notice, I have taken appropriate steps. I have extended my audit procedure. The moment fraud is brought to me, that itself is an indicator your internal control is not operating properly, because it allows frauds to happen. When a fraud is allowed to be happening, then your internal controls has to be focused. I need to extend my audit procedures accordingly. My 143.12 with regard to reporting to central government, whether it is applicable or not, to be looked into. If it is 1 crore or more, I need to necessarily look in, update it to the central government. ADT 4 will be applicable. And also CARO reporting is also there. With regard to specific on CARO reporting, very beautiful question has been asked. Whether fraud by the company, whether fraud on the company, both has to be reported by the auditor. Not only frauds on the company. SA 240 talks about frauds on the company. Companies Act section 143.12 talks about frauds on the company. Professional skepticism talks about frauds on the company. But CARO talks about frauds by the company also. So I need to be very careful. Sir, how I will come to know that frauds by the company? Frauds on the company by itself is difficult. Frauds by the company, how I will come to know? Say maybe adverse negative reporting, news reports, cases, litigations files against the company, government action against the company. There are multiple ways through which, or the representation, at least representation is no fraud company get a representation from the appropriate level of management, so that I am getting covered here. It's not my responsibility to detect frauds. Whatever the frauds that is brought into my knowledge has to be dealt with appropriately here. This is what that I have told you already: communication with the previous auditor and verification of the validity of my appointment. especially in Companies Act, where company nowadays what happens, sir? There are certain companies which appoint the auditor for a 3-year period, which is void ab initio. They cannot, because Companies Act very specifically says the tenure of the auditor shall be 5 years from the conclusion of the AGM in which he is appointed till the conclusion of the 6th AGM. That's what the timeline, except for the first auditor. First auditor will be completing within the next AGM. First AGM he will retire. In a casual vacancy appointed auditor, next AGM he will retire. Other than these two people, if at all an auditor is appointed in an AGM, it shall be for a period of 5 years only, till the conclusion of the 6th AGM. But however, there are companies, they are appointing the auditors for 3 years, 4 years and all. That is, even though all the shareholders is of the view, it cannot go ultra virus to the act. So they need to ensure that, I need to ensure being an incoming auditor, I need to ensure whether my appropriate period is there. Otherwise, I will be held guilty. I will be held guilty with regard to this particular professional misconduct, class 9 of part 1 of first schedule. SA 210, that is engagement letter and preconditions to be very importantly satisfied. These are all multiple essays, standards on auditing. I actually specialize on standards on auditing, where there are multiple standards that are applicable. Specifically, that I need to look into this particular standard, SA 570, with regard to going concern, especially after COVID. The aspect of going concern is no longer an assumption. Going concern is the fundamental accounting principle through which your entire financial statements has been prepared, sir. At least for a next foreseeable future, my entity is not having intention or necessity to shut down my operations, is what this particular going concern is. There is no material uncertainty. What do you mean by this material uncertainty? Say, for example, a huge loss for the company, huge labor turnover, scarcity, or legal action by the entity, or there is a huge pending litigation, which if it is going to be adverse, then the company may not continue to operate. Or the foreign company, which is the holding company of this particular company, intends to shut down these operations. Like that, we have multiple parameters which may be treated as a material uncertainty. If it is so, how the company is continuing to be the going concern entity or not, like that, we need to go for a specific evaluation as per SA 570. There are beautiful advisories that are given by Institute. Also, Institute come out with an implementation guide to SA 570. It will be some 30-page note. So whenever you find time, please go through that particular SA 570 implementation guidance. Beautifully drafted, applicable to every firm that is going to do an audit here. And also 700, SA 700, very specifically, the format of SA 700 got revised. For the past 3 years, we have a different SA 700 format. Before that, the format was different. Now the format is different. Opinion paragraph will be at the beginning itself. Previously, it was not. Previously, there will be introductory paragraph, management's responsibility, auditor's responsibility, and the opinion will be. Now in SA 700 format, once the address is over to the shareholders, immediately we need to go for opinion paragraph. Many people, even in metros, they don't adopt the new format. They still go with the old one only. Like the new one is applicable only for companies, like that. They have a wrong notion. No, the new formats of SA 700 is applicable to all entities, all individual. Also, this particular formats are applicable. So ensure that we are going for a revised right format so that our opinion are standardized. It's nothing but a standardization that happens. These are all the materials that I was talking about, sir. Practitioner's guide to audit of small entities. Sir, I am not going to do a listed entity, sir. Only a small entity. This particular book will be a beautiful one. That is Institute publication here. The resource link is also provided here. And also implementation guide to SA 230. That's another very important one. Audit documentation. E-booklet on sample checklist on standards on auditing. That is also Institute publication. And also implementation guide to AQMM. Like that, we have one another publication that is Institute CAQ's publication. There are a lot of literatures that are available. The only point that is not available is intention to learn. If at all that particular point is there, all other points will be at a click of a mouse. Nothing more than that, at a click of a mouse. So the moment we start stepping towards it, the moment we try to implement something good methodologies, always we are the one who will be capturing the entire world, ensuring the quality in whatever we do. Thanks a lot for your patient learning, patient listening, first of all, with all your busy schedule, you are here and motivating me for this particular physical session. First time in Vijayawada. Vijayawada is such a beautiful city, sir. First time I'm coming here. In the morning when I am trying to land, I see only fertile lands, nothing, no buildings. In the left side of the flight, we have only Krishna, we have only lands, and it was like a rice bowl of the country. Very happy to see the go green, green and all. Absolutely here. And also I had today morning the darshan of Ma Durgamba for fortunate to have that particular darshan, and very happy to be part of this Vijayawada branch of SIRC, and thanks, and we will meet soon on a different topic. We will have a different discussions with all your blessings here. Thank you.
Which the information part to be done by communicated. So thank you very much, sir. Now may I request the chairperson of the branch to present the inventory to the speaker.